Welcome to Hooked on Health. My name is Samm Jenny. Today I talked to Nikki Lutz, a self-love expert and mindset mentor. She guides her clients as they start a relationship with themselves to ditch self-doubt, build self-confidence, and create a life they absolutely adore. Today we talked all about self-care and the many different forms that it can take, and some of them might surprise you.
My name is Nikki Lutz. I'm a self-love and mindset coach. I come from a really high-performing sporting family. So my dad was an Olympic pole vault coach. And when he was an athlete younger, he had the South African record for 20 years. So he was like really, really good at what he did. And he became an incredible world-known coach. As I was growing up, I would see all of these Olympic athletes and I'd see all of this excellence, and that just became normal to me. Like I thought that this is how everyone needs to be and how I needed to be in everything that I did. So I always thought I had to be the best. I always had to be performing. I always had to be achieving more. And as I grew older, I always realized then I'd be comparing myself to others. I would be breaking myself down, not good enough. And I realized I didn't have self-love. So after I finished university, I studied sports science as well. I worked on the super yachts in the super yachting industry, and I traveled all over the world for about 7 years. And I saw the billionaires of the world that could buy anything. And I thought that they could really buy their happiness. I saw this emptiness in their eyes. And that really got me going and thinking, well, what does create happiness? What is lasting joy? Like, how do I become happy if I'm always breaking myself down? And I went on a spiritual journey. I traveled all through Asia. I did my yoga teacher training in Australia. I did a meditation training in India. I was teaching yoga in Thailand. I lived in Bali. So I was trying to figure out, who am I? What makes me happy? How do I not break myself down? Like, how am I my most joyful person? And it's just this whole journey I went on to find inner peace and acceptance and, love for who I am. So it was just a life journey that brought me to where I am now, that now I guide women all over the world to go through this process as well.
That's so incredible. You've been so many places and touched so many lives too.
Yeah. But what's also really beautiful is that, it wasn't ever the plan. It wasn't like, this is what I'm going to be one day or what I'm going to do one day. It just unfolded. It's like it happened authentically, naturally. I was always guided and it felt right. And you see the change in other people's lives. It's like, I can't ever stop doing this.
No, absolutely. It's just so incredible, like the power of being able to affect someone so much that their life now changes for the better. So thank you so much for doing that and continuing to do that. That's incredible.
Thank you.
So for those who may be unfamiliar with the practice, can you just tell us a little bit more about what self-care is?
I personally think that self-care is very personal to everyone, right? Like it'll look a different way to everyone and what they need. But I think that self-care is literally taking care of yourself the way that you need in that specific moment. And it ties in with self-love, right? So what we have to understand is that we are all loving beings. Like it's a human need for love and belonging. So we all need this. But what we do and what we've been taught and how we've been conditioned is that we have to go looking for this love outside of us. So we'll get love and attention and validation from our parents when we're growing up, from our friends, at school, our society. Then we get a little bit older and we get a partner and we get all of this, all this attention. So we're so used to looking for love outside of us and it makes us feel good, but we're not taught to give this love to ourselves. And that's why the first step is self-love and knowing that it's actually really important to start a relationship with myself and to actually start caring for myself and treating myself like I would a best friend. Because you walk through this life with yourself every single day. Every single second of the day you're with yourself. And if you are speaking really negatively about yourself, if the thoughts you have are limiting, if you say, I'm not good enough, I can't do that, then that's how you're showing up in the world. That's what you believe. What you believe is what you're creating in your life. So it's first saying, do you know what? I want to start a new relationship with myself. I want to start to learn to love myself, to stop breaking myself down, which we so often do. And then once I have this relationship with myself, how can I start caring for myself and what do I personally need? Because I might need something to you. So it's like, do I need to be softer on myself, more accepting and take things slow? Or do I need to be more like, come on, girl, like you can do this, like get out the comfort zone, do something new, go for after your dreams. But I personally think that taking that care for ourselves, that self-care, is just checking in and saying, do I maybe need to slow down a little bit, take some time out for myself, nurture myself, fill up my cup? Or do I need to go adventure a little bit? So it is very personal, I think, but it's just whatever you want from someone, the care you want from someone, start giving it to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense. You're your first relationship beyond anything else outside of yourself. So nurturing that is so important. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I also think what's also important is that we do want people to treat us with respect. We do want people to love us. We do want people to care for us. We do want nurturing. Mm-hmm. But how can you ever expect someone to give you love, give you respect, give you attention, give you time, if you don't give it to yourself first? It's impossible to say you need to do this, but I don't think I'm good enough, so I won't give this to myself, but you must. So it's that whole thing of saying how I treat myself is teaching other people how they can treat me.
And that's so hard too, because like you said, you look for that validation outside of yourself too, and you're looking to like almost self-soothe or like, yeah, you said validation, right? So that's just so interesting. When you found out that you could have that self-love and that self-care for you, and you can give yourself all the things that you needed, how did you feel?
As you ask that question, I get goosebumps because it was freeing. I felt free because I think my whole life I was looking for attention and validation from other people to make me feel like I was good enough. And when I finally realized that it didn't matter how much attention I got from someone else, or how beautiful someone said they thought I was, or wow, complimenting me on my gifts, or whatever it was, it didn't matter how much I got from outside. I didn't believe it myself, so it never mattered. I'd still always feel not good enough. So when I finally realized that it's not working, getting this attention from outside of me is not making me feel complete. And when I made that shift, and I started to give it to myself and felt so secure, so peaceful, so content, so at home in my own body and in who I am, I felt unstoppable. Like no one can touch me. And then also if someone did have something negative to say about me or have some opinion or judge me, it was the same thing. It's like, well, that's great. That's okay. Have your thoughts, because I know who I am and I love who I am and I accept who I am and I'm confident in who I am. So it was like, I've become the most powerful woman, the most empowered, like happiest person, not because of anyone else, but because of myself, and that no one can take away from me. It's like, everyone needs to feel this way. I think what's important also though to mention is it doesn't mean like when you have self-love and when you practice self-care and when you fill up your own cup, it doesn't mean that now I don't associate with anyone else. It's not like, oh, well, now I'm hard and I'm on my own and I'm independent. I don't need anyone. It's, I still want love from a partner. I still want love from my family member or a friend, or I still want a feeling of nurturing from a community, but I no longer need it. I'm not dependent on that person to make me feel happy. It still feels great to get attention from someone that you love. It's still amazing when someone says, I'm proud of you. We're still, we're a human. We do like that, but it's not that I'm needy. I'm dependent on that. I've given you my power over my happiness. And if you don't tell me I'm beautiful, or you don't tell me that you're proud of me, or you don't recognize, what I've done and my achievements, oh my goodness, there's something wrong with me. And no, it's saying that I do like that, and that is great, and it is nice, but I'm self-sufficient as well, and I'm holding the power to my happiness in my hands.
So why is self-care so important?
Self-care is so important because we are looking for validation, we're looking for love, we're looking for attention from outside of us. We're looking for this from other people. And when we need this from someone else, we're dependent on them to make us feel good. and we're dependent on them to make us feel whole and to feel like we're worthy and deserving. So when we start to give ourselves love, attention, care, nurturing, whatever it is that you need, when you start to give that to yourself, you have now realized that you hold the power to your happiness, that you can feel good at any moment. Because if you are dependent on someone else to make you feel whole, what happens when, as an example, your partner, who usually gives you all this validation or attention, goes to work? And now you're feeling insecure and you're like, well, excuse me, can you just please, like, I need you to make me feel good, but they're not there for you. Or what happens if you need a parent to say, I'm really proud of you, and they're busy, they're running errands, and you're like, no, but I need you to, are you proud of me? Then we're dependent on them. But when we give what we need to ourselves, then we feel whole. I release that need and that attachment to other people. I'm feeling completely content, empowered, strong, powerful, radiant from within. Another reason why it's actually the biggest gift we can give to someone else, because I know a lot of people say that self-love and self-care is selfish, like you shouldn't be prioritizing yourself, you should be giving this to someone else, you should put someone else before your needs. But actually we can't give from an empty cup. So if you think that you're giving so much love, so much attention to your family, to your children, to a partner, to friends, if you are empty and you've got nothing to give, what is the quality of your time and your love and your energy? It's really low. So by first filling up your cup, feeling really good, content, whole, happy from within, then you can give to them without feeling empty. So you've got so much more to give. But also, my favorite part about self-love and care is that when you are feeling content within and you don't need someone else, you've now released your expectations of that person. So instead of saying, I need you to act this way to make me feel this way, you're saying, I feel this way already. I feel happy already. You are free to be whoever you want to be. So it's like self-love and self-care and a relationship with yourself is the biggest gift you can give yourself. Because you feel whole and content, but it is the biggest gift we can give to everyone around us, because we are a happier person and everyone wants to be around someone who's happy and who's in a good space, and because we allow them to be who they truly are instead of having expectations about how they should be acting.
So what are some ways people can start doing self-care at home?
First of all, you can take some time out and do something just for yourself. Take a breather. You don't have to be working all the time. Even though you think you might have to, like, this is a new way of thinking. So say, okay, so I need to relax. I need to slow down. I need to calm down. I need to find my center. What works for me? Is that reading a book? Is that taking a bath? Is that sitting in silence for 10 minutes and listening to piano music? Is that making food, cooking for yourself? Is it pouring a glass of wine and just sitting down and just putting your feet up? So taking some time out. Self-care for me, like the biggest thing that I can do is to actually meditate. So I will sit and still my mind, be present, because what I find is the anxiety and the stress and the worry and all of that comes up, that makes my body feel very stressed, is all coming from my mind. Because when you have a thought, that thought creates a feeling in your body. So if you're feeling anxious, it's actually not something that's outside that's making you anxious. It's your thoughts about what's happening outside that's making you anxious. It's your thoughts that are making you feel that way. So if I want to feel calm and centered and peaceful, if I want to feel good and nurture myself and care for myself, I've got to check on my thoughts. So I'll meditate. I'll be in the present moment. I'll be still. I'll calm everything down. I'll feel great afterwards. I think self-care as well, movement is great, mindful movement, whether that's some yoga, whether that's walking, whatever feels good to you. Nature for me is a big one. Whenever I'm in nature, I feel good. Create a beautiful space for yourself, light a candle, put on some incense or some music, whatever it is that really makes you feel in a good space, in your space. And do that. Intention setting is really great. So asking yourself, like, how do I want to move through my day? How do I want to feel today? Instead of like waking up, rushing to work, not spending any time with yourself, ask yourself that, become intentional about your day. Also, for me, a massive part of self-care is turning my phone off. Because when I'm on my phone and I'm scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or anything on social media, my thoughts are there. I'm comparing, or I'm looking at things that are not necessarily important for my inner peace. So turn your phone off and spend some good quality time with yourself. So there are lots of different ways. Another thing is just actually, if you would like someone to care for you, say for instance, buying you flowers, go buy flowers for yourself. If you'd like someone to cook a beautiful meal for you, cook that meal for yourself. If you want someone to spend quality time with you, spend that time with yourself. So again, there's no one size fits all. It's asking yourself, what do I need right now? How can I care for myself? What would make me feel very good right now? And then go do that. I think another thing is that a lot of people avoid how they're feeling, because we've been taught that there are good and bad emotions. So if I'm feeling happy, that's good. If I'm feeling sad, that's bad. If I'm feeling happy, that's good. If I'm feeling angry, that's bad. You shouldn't feel angry. You shouldn't, scream and stomp your feet. However, there are no good or bad emotions. All emotions are equal. Happiness and sadness are two sides of the same coin. You want to get rid of sadness, you get rid of happiness. So we also have to learn that emotions are there in our bodies to show us something about ourselves, and that every time we try to push away an emotion, it comes back stronger. So often we will be feeling a certain way. I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling lonely. What can I do to numb myself, to not deal with my emotions? Let me go watch Netflix. Let me open a bottle of wine and drink the whole bottle of wine. Let me comfort eat. Let me do all these things so I don't have to feel what I'm really feeling, instead of saying, let me sit with the feeling. Let me ask myself, why am I feeling this? And do you know what? It's okay to feel this way. So again, I think it all comes back to starting a relationship with yourself and asking yourself, how can I treat myself like a best friend? That, I would say, is the most simple way of going about this. How would you treat your best friend? Start treating yourself that way.
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
So I'd actually like to share two things. Something that absolutely changed my life was awareness. So I often talk about your thoughts, and when you change the way that you think, you change the way that you feel more empowered, and then you can start to change your actions because you're feeling good, you want to take action, and then you see change in your life. But I think that we skip the part of awareness, because it's impossible for you to change your thoughts if you're not aware of what you're thinking. So awareness for me absolutely changed my life. It's the practice that I actually practice the most. And it's literally just starting to become aware in the moment of what's really real. Because what happens in life is that there's this reality of what's happening, like life is unfolding. It's neither good or bad. Let's take an example of a sunset. There's a sunset, the sun is going down, there's like a red tinge in the sky, the temperature is getting a little bit cooler. It's not a good thing or a bad thing, it's neutral. The sun is setting. But we attach onto that neutral experience our own story and our own narrative. So we take the reality and we create our own personal reality. And sometimes that personal reality can be positive, like, oh my gosh, I love a sunset. It makes me remember this holiday I went on, it was the best time. And it's positive and it makes us feel good. But often the narrative that we attach onto the reality is negative. So it'll be like, oh, the sunset makes me remember my ex-partner and we were watching the sunset together and it makes me so sad. And I'm lonely and am I ever going to find someone? And then we go on this whole, tangent of thoughts, but it's not real. So we're creating this feeling in our body that's not actually, it's coming from our thoughts alone. And if we actually just started to become aware of what we're thinking, we could stop that whole process. So to see is to be free, because now I'm observing that I'm feeling this way instead of saying, I am sad. I'm really sad. My life is difficult and I'm sad. We're saying, I'm aware that I'm feeling sad. And that takes our power back as well. And like we can do something. So I would definitely say that awareness is something. If you can start practicing that in your life, you'll start to feel a lot more powerful and see things as they are. That it's just see the reality instead of a story that we're attaching. The last thing I would share with any listener is that you deserve to live an incredible life. You deserve to live a good life. Life is meant to actually be fun and easy. It's not meant to be a struggle. And if you're struggling right now, that's okay. You are where you are. That's fine. But you do get to change. And it's not someone else who's going to change your life for you. It's you who's going to change your life, because your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So if you are feeling chaotic, like life is really difficult, you can't cope right now, your life will be a mirror of that. Life will be chaotic. If you're feeling calm and centered, secure, in love with who you are, your life will reflect that as well. So you get to live a good life. You get to have all your desires. It's not being selfish. Like, you're meant to be happy. But in order to start that journey, you have to first start a relationship with yourself and get to know who you are, what you truly want out of life, what's holding you back, and then what you need to do to start moving towards that. And there are people that are living incredible lives. I live an incredible life, and I'm no different to anyone else. So yeah, be inspired that you can make a change, that you're never stuck, that you don't have to be a victim. You can change and start to become empowered.
Thank you so much. This has been so incredibly powerful to just like hear your advice and hear you talk. And it's incredible to hear you share your story and share how you've influenced so many people positively, and how people can do this. This isn't something that's unattainable or outside of their scope or too expensive, you know. It's something that truly comes from within, and that's incredibly powerful to hear. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
If you're interested in hearing more from Nikki, feel free to watch the extended version over on my website at sammjenny.com. And in whatever form your self-care journey takes, I hope it brings you one step closer to living the life that you love.
Cause I cleaned up my face, my nails